안녕하세요. One of the things that's been happening lately, it just seems to be like a string of these types of releases, are these sort of promotional collaborations, right, between groups and certain franchises. I just recently checked out the New Jeans Gods release for the League of Legends Cup, right? And AESPA, I'm going to check out today their new theme song for Pokemon, right? It's titled "We Go," and it's not at all like it's the first time that it's happening. There's, it goes way back. Groups, and I guess there are companies working out some deals with all kinds of, like phone companies and like to make promotional releases, right? And it's kind of like, so there's a song and there's an official release of it, a comeback, and it ties into a sort of product launch, I guess, right? All depending on what it is. But the trend that I've noticed recently is that it's with games, or in this case, Pokemon. I don't know if this is for an animation, like a cartoon, or if it's intended to be for an actual Pokemon game. It's been a while, right? But there's also Les Seraphim. They have an upcoming release that ties into Overwatch 2. Like there's more. There's a couple more. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But there's all kinds of these songs being released, right? Where that's sort of the premise. It's like they're working with an established franchise. It's part of a promotional project, I guess you could say. But it is very cool. Most of these, are things that I can relate to. That are, so, I play League a little bit, not a whole lot, but I have played League a little bit. I played Overwatch far more. So when I saw that Les Seraphim was going to do something that ties into Overwatch 2, I was like, okay, this is getting interesting now, and this by AESPA, We Go. This what came out maybe a couple months ago, right? I just hadn't had a chance to check it out yet, but when I saw that this was released, it really got me to thinking, because I go all the way back to the original Pokemon games. Like I had Pokemon Red. That was the version that I got way back in the 90s, right? On the old Game Boy, on the huge like brick Game Boy, right? That man, and it was really awesome. Like that's one game that I dumped. Of course, I was a kid, but I played it all the time, like all the time. I put so many hours into the original Pokemon, and I played like a little bit of the next gen Pokemon, but I didn't really get too into it. And then as things kind of evolved, I was busy with like the console games that were coming out, the into the PS2, PS3 era. It was, I just wasn't really doing the portable type of games then. But I did check out the Sun and Moon games when they were out. Because I picked up a 3DS just off of I just felt like getting one, to see what it was about, and it was actually very cool. That's a cool system, handheld system, but yeah. So a big gap in between, but I did play the original and one of the recent Pokemon iterations, and so I'm like very familiar with the franchise, and when I saw this release, it made me think of the original Pokemon theme song, right? And the original Japanese version of the Pokemon theme song is very 90s anime, which is great. I'm not knocking that. That's not like a critical thing. That's where all my favorite, anime series happened, was like in the 90s, so and it's very much that style, and it's that type of song. The US version, or like the Western version though, that theme song from the 90s is really one of the greatest ones, like, of all time. It goes super hard. And it's like high octane, guitar riffs, and but it's an incredible arrangement too. It's a great composition with some. If you watch if you watched the series back in the day, I think probably only the first episode actually played the whole theme song, if that, because after that they condensed it down. You know what I mean, to make room for like the commercials and everything. But you can find like the whole theme song, and it's got a fantastic bridge section with like just one of the coolest guitar solos ever. The vocals are dude, they're still good. Like, there's some harmonies in there that are wild. Like, you kind of forget over time, but if you listen to that thing, man, it's a fantastic theme song. AESPA, though, their whole concept works so well with video game type collaboration. You know what I mean? Their whole like the flat and kwangya, and like the that whole thing. It just works, right? It's like it just the eyes and everything. It just works. So I thought, yeah, this is a perfect group for this kind of thing, and so I just wanted to check this out finally, and see what they sound like, because these, I mean, the New Jeans Gods one was such a crazy departure from what I have come to sort of recognize as their sound, their sort of signature group style and sound, and that was so different. I mean, like, finally getting to hear them like sing, like really hit these great, wonderful melodies and high notes and harmony. Like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Like, I was like, wow, this is really fantastic stuff. So there's not a video associated with this one. It would be cool. I don't know, maybe there will be at one point in time, but for now, I'll just go ahead and give it a listen, and see what they did for this one, what kind of song it is. I expect it to be fairly contemporary, not like the 90s one. In other words, I think this is going to be something that's much more palatable to the current audiences and the current young following for the franchise. But let's check it out. Ah, so it surprisingly actually does sort of echo a lot of the earlier themes, you know. Obviously the guitar work that's in there, but it's kind of like both. It's kind of like the Japanese original theme song and a little bit of the Western version also. Um, the vocal is very Japanese anime theme song. Like it's the way those lines are written and everything. The sort of like rhythmic intensity, the way it ramps up around like the chorus section, you know, dun, 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 dun. It's incredibly upbeat as well. Like this song is moving, man. It's really fast. Um, there's what's cool about the guitar sound. There's some distortion, some overdrive that's going on, you know, for some of those licks and some of those runs and everything that are in there. That's very much a nod to the old school. But in the when it's more like a rhythm sound that's going on, say during the first verse, it has a very clean and contemporary type of sound to it. Like just the tone and the actual like the production behind the guitar sounds very modern, like very contemporary. So there's a bit of nostalgia within this song, but at the same time, you know, also being very sort of fresh. The finish on this, that last section where you've got some piano, it's very sparse. You have the piano part that's going, you have a little percussion. It's really just the accent on the 2 and the 4 that becomes a clap with plenty of reverb on it. And then you have the chorusy vocals, right? The sort of chant that's going on. That is very new. That like the way that's done, with so much reverb on the vocals, making this big sound. Like it creates this big space, and then has these sounds sort of like resonating throughout and kind of getting very deep in how they're sort of echoing throughout this space that they have created. And so there's a little there's a little something old and a little something new, right? Like it's sort of a mix of both of these things. I don't know who, because I don't have the lyrics, right? First of all, they've really adapted their vocal delivery to the style of composition that's going on here. Like, it's a very good demonstration of, you know, being able to do that, like to from their normal. Again, this is kind of like similar to the New Jeans Gods release. There's what aespa normally does, right, in their own SM produced songs and albums and everything. And then there's the approach that they had to sort of adapt to for this song and what it requires. And they did it very well. There's a lot of things in here with some of the inflections, and that wonderful sort of high note, right? The peak of the song that comes near the end before that sort of outro section. I'm thinking, is that Ning Ning? Because Ning Ning can sing, man. Like she's got an incredible voice. It's really phenomenal. Some of the things I've heard her do, like Next Level, right? Oh my goodness, her part in that song is wildly good, man. It's so awesome. But the inflection in here is so different. Like the requirements for the vocal work on this song are so specific to what they wanted for this, right? For this Pokemon theme, that I can't even tell who it is. Like it's a completely different kind of intonation and everything. It's not at all the same. I'm only guessing that it's Ning Ning because of the projection, like the power behind it. I suppose it could have been Karina or Winter, because they can also really sing very well. I just when I think of the power, like in the aespa vocals, I begin with Ning Ning because I just know that she can deliver some incredible notes, man, some incredible pitches and everything. But it's very cool. It, like from the start, the way this starts with the sort of drum fill into the main sort of mix, it was like, oh, okay, never mind. This is kind of old school, you know, like. It's so fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So like your upbeats are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like it's so fast, man. And you already hear in the intro that the that part, and then the piano work is in there. It's going on kind of like in between the vocal and the underneath the vocal and the guitar. And so those are the parts that will come back at the outro. Of course, minus the guitar and the drums, the full drum like kit sounds that are going on. Super punchy, right? Like, you know, the it's a very cool lick that's going on in the guitar too. A lot. So the count is so fast, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you can hear though that snare hit, right? That lets you know like when 2's coming around and 4. And so what we have are all of these quarter notes that are tied together. That's what you're hearing in like the vocal licks and the guitar licks, right? And there's a very cool thing that happens. I believe it's like pre-chorus section, where it feels like we've slowed down a little bit, right? But what happens if you listen to the hat sound, it's still playing. It's still on the same tempo of 1, 2, 3, 4, but the accent coming from the snare hit moves over to the 3, right, and the 1, so it expands and feels like we've slowed down. The count is still going on though. It's a very cool thing. Oh, so like, man, listening to the piano part, it's really nice, man. Such a great sound. It's just soft and bright, and it's, you know, playing a lot of these quarter notes and tied together quarter notes, and it's a great syncopation. The drums right now, the hat is playing that 4 on the floor beat. It's just going 1, 2, 3, 4, and the guitar, that riffy work that's going on is on the 8th note, so that's giving you your upbeats, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then, but that piano part, man, that piano part is so nice in this mix. It's such a, by comparison to the drums and to the guitar work, it's a very soft sound. You know, it's very soft and clean, and it's just so legato. It's so smooth. It's really wonderful. Double stops in the kick. So you see also a lot of play between the vocal and the piano. The piano is very much a melodic voice within this mix, and there are times when it syncs up with the vocal line. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like, you know, somebody who's composing this, they're playing that piano part and hearing the vocal, right? They're like figuring out what it is on the piano, and probably the main chord progression as well. But I don't hear much of the low end of the piano. Like, it's mainly melodic, and it's mainly sticking to the higher end of the actual range. Hats keeping your 4 count, right? But you notice the between what the kick and the snare are doing, there's all this added space, right? Because it's holding back for a beat, and so it's sort of expanded out the feel there. The guitar work it's really really awesome, man. It's such a throwback sound. It's like 80s guitar almost. It's like oh man, dude, it reminds me of so much like 80s metal type stuff. You know, it's that sound, but it's so perfect, man. It's what a great combination between this sort of crying guitar, right? That smooth, warm, bright piano sound, and then the vocal. But the vocal, you notice, it is very much that anime theme style. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Like you can already hear it even up until this point, and the chorus that we're about to go into, even more so. They've done such a great job of adjusting and adapting to what this song requires as far as the vocal delivery. You know, because it just sounds so different. So there's a little bit of a 16th note, probably some dot flags in there. So that sort of shuffle, like that's that type of rhythmic pattern that's going on. So the vocals actually having to move on some 16th note subdivisions on this super fast pace, and it's such a clean delivery as well. And they're harmonizing too. And that's very much the adaptation to the style. This sort of stylistic requirements for this type of composition, right? And it's so good. Like it's spot on. It's not, you know what I mean? Like if you didn't know this was aespa, you probably wouldn't guess. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so just perfectly executed for what these types of theme songs tend to sound like. You know, it's so good. It just you wouldn't even question it. You're like, yeah, okay, it's a Pokemon theme song for sure. Because it's really well done on the aespa's part. You know, to be able to like, oh, okay, this is what you. It speaks to the acumen of like technical, you know, musical understanding, right? As they're able to completely switch it up and change the genre and change the style and adjust that delivery to what this song needed. It's really nice the way that the main, you know, high note, that sort of vocal lick, right? We go. And then the harmonies come in, the backing vocal harmonies come in on the uh-oh. One sort of leads right into the next. It's very cool layering. And it's even playing off of what the guitar is doing. Oh, the guitar sounds so great here, man. It's got that overdrive distortion on it. And it's like smooth, man. There's a bite coming off of the distortion, but it's such a smooth lick, man. It's so good, and it gives it that nostalgic type of feel also, right? That sort of the crying guitar, the main vocal lick that's going on, and then layering into that backing vocal harmony. It's so nice. It's a really wonderful texture, man. It's so apropos to this style, right? To the theme song style. Oh, the bass line. Did you hear that bass run? Oh, it's so good, man. What's fun about this too, having the like at this tempo, once you get to that 16th note subdivision, it's so great for all these licks and all these runs, and it's like super easy to read too. It's so user friendly, I guess you could say, right? But it just, dude. Oh, even the bass. That's really the first time I've heard the bass stand out. But it's a fantastic run. It's as melodic as anything the piano or the guitar does easily. But it was really really nice. Oh man, it's difficult to pick out that that bass voicing in here. That's probably YouTube's fault. That's probably the audio compression that's going on. But man, wow, that was really awesome. Oh man, so everything is so melodic. Vocal, guitar, bass, piano. The bass is very clean too. Everything is super clean. Oh, see right there, that the inflection on that is so different, man. I've never heard them do anything like that. Like, oh, see, this is the most replayed part. Yeah. The power, man, the power of those vocals. Everything else is going off so wildly too, man. The bass, the guitar, these drum fills, that like it's so incredibly dynamic there. It all around the dynamics on everything just completely shoot up right there. With fantastic sort of the bridge section, right? Much of it drops out. We get the sort of piano arpeggios that are going on. All that space, right? The production created all that space, and man, the whoever that I need to figure out who it is, right? I'm inclined to say it's Ning Ning, but it might not be. But they're going off right there, man. They're going off, and I've never heard them put this type of inflection on the vocal lines before. It's really really good, man. That's a fantastic peak. A fantastic climax to the song. It's so good, man. It's so and it keeps going too. Like, once the mix comes back in, the drums come back in, the guitar and the bass and everything, and then like the way that those vocal licks are going off, man, and the absolute power behind, like, the air behind those vocals, man, is incredible. And it's like a fantastic climax, dude. It's so colorful, but just there's so much power behind it. Like, oh man, that was so good. That was so good. Just the texture coming off the vocal layering there is so fantastic, man. It's so fantastic. It has more airiness than the normal type of vocal delivery, and this even comes down to like SM production wise. They tend not to lean into the airiness of the of vocal work, right? They like very clean, crisp sort of sounds, where it's strong in at the conclusion of a note duration as it is in the beginning. But there's a lot more airiness to the vocals here, and some of that of course is the production and adding the reverb on it, like creating all of that sort of swirly space. But those harmonies at the end there, man, that's an incredible texture. It's so good, man. impressed by their ability, like I said, to just pull off what the song requires, um, and perfectly too. It's such a perfect theme song. It's like it's perfectly done, um, and it's surprised me with how much of that sort of original like sound was incorporated into this, right? Like the throwback appeal of it, the guitar work mainly, right? Like that's incredible, man. There's some fantastic writing and some fantastic playing too. Like I would imagine it was probably like session musicians that got in on this work, and I mean it's just top tier playing for sure. But the guitar sounds like that's a crazy throwback, man. It's so nostalgic. It goes back before Pokemon into that 80s sort of hair metal sound. But there's wonderful, wonderful melodic runs in the bass. Also, the piano sound is it's perfectly engineered because nothing is really too strong to match the like bright and sort of warm quality of the piano into a mix with this type of distorted guitar and really strong punchy percussion that's going on. Man, like it's very, very well balanced as far as the mix goes, and aespa has delivered some incredible vocal work here, man. That bridge, into the sort of peak of the song, right? That's some of the best vocal work that I've ever heard. That's incredible, man. And this is what makes these songs like so interesting to me, right? At least to me, and I'm sure other people can relate to this. Also, it's just getting to hear a group whose normal sound, or not normal, but their established sound, like what it is that they do on a regular basis, what you kind of come to expect from them, right? And to hear an intentional stylistic departure from that and how they pull it off, it indicates so much about their actual technical understanding and ability, right? Because this is perfectly executed, right, as far as the vocal delivery goes. And man, I got to check out these other ventures like this, these other forays into these type of productions, right, for established franchises and things like that, because they really catch the spirit of it. Like New Jeans nailed it on the Gods single. Like that was incredible. aespa here has nailed it. Like they're so spot on with what this theme song needed to accomplish and should accomplish. Like this makes me feel nostalgic. Pokemon, it's been around so long, man. Like it's I played it as a kid, and I could have had kids of my own that grew up playing it, and they could be coming to the point in life where they're going to have kids who will also play it. Like this is generation spanning as far as a franchise is concerned, and this is perfect. Like this is a perfect delivery, and that's what's so interesting about some of these OSTs and theme songs, and it's very cool now that we're at the point where they can have collaborations with these kinds of franchises, right? It's one thing to do like a single for a phone that's going to be released or something. I mean, like the synergy between the two sort of brands, or the between like what a group does and then what the, in that case, a product is, right? It's only gonna have so much drawing power like on its own, right? Really, you have to know the group, like that. There's still like the main pull there, right? If it's that kind of a promotional effort. But if we're talking things that already have massive followings and fan bases, like Pokemon or League of Legends or Overwatch or something, there's so much more synergy between these two halves, right? Between what the groups are and then what the franchises are. Like there's so much more there. And so this will have a much bigger reach, man, because it's going to pull from both the group fans, the K-pop fans, and then also those who are fans and followers of the IPs, the franchises, right? So this has so much more synergy behind it when you see these type of collaborative promotional productions that are going on. But and aside from all of that, yeah, it's really, really incredible to see, to hear these groups that totally meet like these different styles and be well outside of what we might consider the comfort zone, right? But it's so interesting. It's wild because you're going to hear totally different deliveries. You're going to hear a difference in tone. You're going to hear a difference in range. You're going to hear a difference in the inflections. Very, very subtle and specific things, because that's what the alternate style needs. That's what it needs, right? But this is fantastic stuff, man. It's really, really fun. Like, it's a blast. It's a blast to hear this sound come from these groups. And so yeah, I'm definitely going to check out the upcoming Les Seraphim release. And somebody let me know that there was that Twice has done a League of Legends release also, right? So I got to go back and do that, because there's no way I can miss out on, anything that Twice does. There's more stuff to do also. I got to get back into some album reviews, because because I need to expand my access to certain discographies, and it's time to add more into the mix, more into the ongoing sort of library of groups and artists and such. It's just there are times when I'm like, okay, I got plenty of stuff to listen to for now, right? But then, at a certain point, it's like, I want more. I want more. I want to hear things that I haven't heard yet, So I'm definitely going to try and get some of that work done also. But this was incredible, man. This was really an amazing and interesting demonstration of aespa's ability to, take on this type of song. And it's fun, man. It's fun. It's a blast. It really is. Nostalgic and cool, and so very interesting just to hear a different sound right from a group. It's an incredibly fun thing. Oh man, yeah, I mean, you can see the appeal, but it's like I could get used to it, which you have to try to manage, right? Because you're gonna get like what the group normally does, right? This is like a rare thing, right? This is a rare candy. You don't want to use it willy-nilly, right? You want to kind of be measured in savoring this type of performance. But it's really fun, man. aespa with We Go, they completely nailed it. It's absolutely fantastic. Fantastic composition, fantastic arrangement, instrumentation, and such a wonderful vocal delivery by the group. It's really wildly good, really, really awesome.